how did I end up in statistics?
Yes, so that is my second question.
I see. Lesotho had a census in 1966. So by 1965, it's campaigning for a census. I mean, this thing sounds nice.
Yeah.
So my father exchanges 2 calves for an ox, a brown one, an Afrikaner with horns like that. Not as big as the Ankole horns, but
the Ankole, yeah.
The Afrikaner one. I named that census, that ox. It got the name census. Now I don't know whether this is how this thing grew on me later. Yes, later.
Wow, I must say that is a very peculiar name to give an animal. Oh, wow.
So I don't know, but there I am.
Yeah.
And that university, I got there, I had wanted to do geology, and there was no geology offered in Lesotho. And this geology thing came from hearing some 2 old men when my grandfather was being buried in 1963.
Yeah.
And they were looking at the waterways. When water has sunk, there's some bluish layer against the rays of the sun that emerge. And they were saying there are diamonds here. Diamonds here. So I listened to this. And then later I had the word geology because I had just picked up a precious stone. And this other man that saw it. So this thing followed me. So when I tried to do geology, oh, by the way, my nephew's son is now doing geology, and I feel very much fulfilled. So I couldn't do geology at university. And he's just got his degree, and now he's going for honors.
Yeah.
And you know my story. You know my story about wanting to do geology.
Yeah.
So now you are continuing. Better keep that.
Yeah.
So so I am there with second year students. I'm a sophomore. So I'm saying to them, guys, I don't know what to do now. That geology is not here.
Yeah.
So they say, oh, maybe, when second years are sitting there, they are the most intelligent guys.
Yeah.
Especially when they look at first year students. So they say, can you do sociology? They all laughed. And I felt that I am not going to do that thing called sociology.
Okay.
Then they went into other things, economics. Yes, I felt. Then when they said statistics, I said, that sounds something that I'll do.
Oh, wow.
That's how I ended up in statistics. But later I realized, sociology is very important. I have to do sociology.
Yeah.
So when I got to Botswana, and then I went on to do demography. And when I went to Botswana, I got a job at the statistics office. That's where I started. Interesting part, at the statistics office, I had worked in Lesotho only for a year.
Yeah.
The interesting part was the task I had to undertake, which was the census of Botswana of 85.
Yeah.
And then when I looked at the documents, I mean, oh my God, definitions, and you have to run a census. What is one that struck in my head was the definition of a colored. Because you classify people whether you are colored, black, white, and so on. And the definition of a colored was someone who, by appearance, is obviously a colored and is accepted as such.
Okay.
It's generally accepted as such. So the definition of a colored is someone whom by appearance is obviously a colored and is generally accepted as such. So now I say, but what definition is this that looks so secular? The way I think the one of black was Bantu, this, that. So that was an interesting experience to start preparing for the census. And I did that excellently, ran the census of 85 of Botswana and another one in 1991. And of course, the politics of change had begun. So that was very much so disrupted, the census of Bophuthatswana of 1991.
Yeah.
And, these operations have to be done under calm, and people get detailed people. And then Chief Molotlegi Lebone had just been exiled to Botswana, had just left, escaped Bophuthatswana to go to Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we tried to do a census there. The village was just, Phukeng was just on fire. They couldn't accept anyone.
Yeah.
In Witterfeld, on the other hand, the police were raiding. So these guys were doing a census during the day and the police raiding at night. Everything was connected. They said, you are the people who are asking, and then by night, you send the police on us.
Yeah.
So very interesting things in 91. I must say that in getting into statistics was a rare privilege to know the inner secrets of households. I mean, it's a very, very rare privilege, but also very dangerous work to do when people chase you away. So
yeah,
I've been there from Bophuthatswana, and then when Tsumukhetle came back to be the democratically elected Prime Minister of Lesotho
in
1993, which occurred a year before South Africa's 1994, he invited me back home.
Okay.
But because when I arrived in Bophuthatswana, the staff were not trained, I started a training program.
Okay.
And then I was joined by Professor Kaimbara, and we actually intensified the training.
Yeah.
So when the Prime Minister asked me to come back, I said, yes, I will definitely do.
Yeah.
I went back to Lesotho, had an interview, and we actually discussed this. I said, look, in 1994, because he invited me in 1994, I just applied for citizenship.
Yeah.
And that had been approved. But of Bophuthatswana, it was before South Africa. So that was approved. I was a full citizen.
Yeah.
And in Lesotho, you couldn't have dual citizenship. So I presented this to the Prime Minister. I said, well, we can deal with that. But I also said, I have a 6-month lead to complete the exercise I was doing with my staff, who actually took care of me when I wasn't having nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Which is the training. Can I come in 6 months' time? He said, Mufugeng, democracy cannot wait.
Yeah.
And we understood each other with the Prime Minister. And so I couldn't go back to Lesotho to head the IEC, Independent Electoral Commission, which was what he was inviting me to come and do.
Yeah.
So then, of course, there were serious difficulties in South Africa around the census, around all this, around transformation. I found myself carrying the burden from Bophuthatswana to fight the national system in as far as statistics is concerned, to the point where Dr. Dutoi, the head of Stats SA then, declared me a persona non grata. And by so doing, he had signed his death warrant.
Wow.
His position was advertised, and then Mark Hogan got the post, and I transferred reluctantly to head office. And when Mark Hogan left, I became the statistician general in 2000. So from 1982 to 2017 is certainly an interesting 35-year journey in the world of statistics.
Wow.